Monday. Let's fucking go, baby. How are we? This is episode 85. Um, Sort of a big episode, man. This is the first episode post Cyberfest. Um, yeah, like holy fuck. Cyberfest was absolutely a success. Um, let's talk about it. Let's really dive into this and we'll give some thoughts. Talk about Cyberfest, talk about the future of Music Mondays, and what's next in 2022. Cole, what's good, baby? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. Happy Monday, my friend. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. So, man, where to start? So the event itself was fucking just a success in so many ways, but on the back end of things, first off, this was an extreme success. Like an extreme success. Very minimal issues as far as technical problems go, as far as anything happening on the back end that was sort of an issue. A lot of that stuff went extremely well, which if you consider that Music Mondays was live for 10 hours and Cyberfest was 10 hours long, you could see how that's a huge deal. I mean, no problems for over 10 hours. That's insane. That's really, really good. So as far as the technical aspect of things go, the live stream, the Discord literally went exceptional. Every artist really, really killed it. Everybody's sets were just insane, man. Like, this was something that I was talking about on the show for a long time, but didn't really get to speak on in detail until like episodes like 82 through like now. So yeah, man, Cyberfest is a success, truly a success. Like I said, every artist really, really killed it. Every artist was super easy to work with. Everybody was super supportive. Like, that was really the best thing about this, because it felt genuine. It felt very proper, because as many of you know, I've been around the space for quite a while, since 2018, as far as really being involved in the space and really working hands-on with other artists and my art, other artists on platforms, as far as interviews, things like that go. There are so many things that really just felt right with Cyberfest. Cyberfest didn't feel forced. It didn't feel fake. It didn't feel anything like that. It was very wholesome and very underground oriented, and that's all I could really ask for as far as Cyberfest goes, man. As far as the stats go, the stats were really, really insane. We had like 30 people on the live stream pretty much the whole day. At least 50 plus different people in the Discord throughout the whole day. So if you total that up, that's at least 70 people throughout 10 hours, if not more. That's just sort of like a rough guesstimate. Which is just fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that's more people that pack out like your pool halls and your local venues and shit like that. Like, there are people that genuinely rent out spaces to try to like fill that many people and don't get that far of a reach. So that's why things like Cyberfest are really, really crucial. You know, it proved that you don't really need something like COVID for Cyberfest to be successful. Especially for platforms like Music Mondays, where we're still in our growth stage. We're not in a spot where we can stand on our own 2 feet and really have a budget for bigger and like larger events. So we do what we can with what we have, and we really try to make Cyberfest as big as possible. And I think it went really well for what we had to work with. And every artist, like I said, was super easy to work with. Everybody was so supportive, and it just felt genuine, you know what I mean? And the turnout was great. Everybody got so much support, and the amount of love that every artist showed was just crazy. And the thing that stood out to me the most was the amount of people that came out and supported their favorite artist, right? Like, they were like, oh, I'm gonna go see, this person's set, I'm gonna go see X, Y, or Z. And that to me was really dope. Really fucking dope. Because, like, there'd just be certain people that just came through for certain sets, and I was like, damn, like, that's some real, like, ride or die shit, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of, like, small things that I noticed that was really dope, and I was super happy with it, man. Super happy with it. And like I said, the numbers were great, but more importantly, the feeling of it all was it was there. It felt like the real underground, you know. Michael Jones, welcome to the live stream, homie. Welcome. Happy Monday. Come on in, my friend. So that's what I mean, man. Like, it was a success in so many ways, but the most important thing was it felt real. And, like, even for me, like, on a personal level, things like Cyberfest weren't really popular until COVID. Like, you could find, like, online events here or there, but they didn't really get popularized until the pandemic, truly. And once the pandemic really got adjusted to people's lives, and we really adjusted to the pandemic, people stopped really enjoying things like online events and virtual shows. But Cyberfest really, once again, proved that you don't need COVID to do things like that. Like, you don't need to really have something so, like, damaging as COVID was, right? Because, like, if you were in the underground at the time, or you were even a musician at the time, like, like, how hard that hit everybody, Like, yeah, like, things like streams and shit were, like, really good and all that other stuff, but, like, literally nobody could do shit. Like, nobody could perform, nobody could travel, nobody could go to the studio. So, like, that's, like, so many people, like, really fucked over. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you didn't have a home studio, or, performing was, like, your main source of income, or merchandise was your main source of income. Like, that sucked for a lot of musicians. And Cyberfest really was able to gloss over that and really make, not people forget about that, but more so, like, just make a new memory over it, because you don't really want to associate that with, like, something so shitty as, like, the pandemic, right? So I'm glad Cyberfest was able to, like, prove that we can have a virtual event at the end of the summer and still make it work, and, like, actually have a good time, you know what I mean? For so many reasons, but the main ones being that it was free, and you could attend from the comfort of your own home or wherever your spot was at, right? So all in all, I couldn't be happier with how everything went. Truly. So what's next for Music Mondays? Well, obviously we're not going to exhaust the idea of Cyberfest, right? Like, I think hosting these often would kind of kill the fun of them, and really kill, like, the surprise factor, and make it feel less, like, once in a while. So with that said, I don't think we'll do another one this year. Most likely not. But as I'm planning for next year, there will definitely be a lot of things on the table as far as events like that go, and a lot of future stuff for Music Mondays. Um, Mostly it has to do with a little bit of planning and a little bit of structure as far as the Music Mondays back end goes. I gotta make sure that I got a solid team around me before we try to push the envelope with some of these ideas. Um, which is fine. You know what I mean? That's why I think things like Cyberfest can really test people's limits with, events and being organized and being cordial and things like that. It really helps you get a lot of reps, because things like Cyberfest, how often are you managing 30 set lists in one show? You know what I mean? It's very rare that that comes across even in live shows, because it's like, holy shit. So even I learned a lot. Uh, so very, very important stuff, and a lot of learning factors went into Cyberfest as well, and in regards to future events, So, one more event will be closing out the year, with Music Mondays. It really got announced at the end of Cyberfest. I spoke a little bit on it, but we'll be doing the Music Mondays Awards. So essentially, at the end of the year, Music Mondays Awards are going to be categorized in a few different ways. I'm not going to speak on categories right now, because nothing's really set in stone. So I'm not going to say something and then not have it. But just know that we're going to look at like 10 plus or so categories, as far as, things around Music Mondays. I spoke on this a little bit, but the end of the year awards is definitely going to be a thing. It'll definitely be a thing every year, especially considering we have the podcast, right? So we go through so much stuff here on the show that we'll be able to pick from, not just stuff on the show, but, articles and stuff we've reacted to and reviewed, and so many cool things. And that's really one event that is going to be super, super fun to host. So expect that sometime towards the end of the year, preferably before Christmas, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's what's up for Music Mondays and the rest of 2022, man. This is my absolute thank you to anybody that attended Cyberfest, performed at Cyberfest, had any involvement whatsoever. If you spectated, if you performed, like I said, had any sort of involvement in Cyberfest, thank you. And the Music Monday staff, thanks you as well. It was a really, really fun fucking time. And as far as post Cyberfest coverage goes, expect the full event. All 10.5 hours will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as everybody's individual sets will be uploaded as well. So that's around 30 sets will be uploaded on our channel. If you want to go to your specific set and you want to share that, or you didn't want to upload your set but you wanted to kind of have an archive of it, we'll be uploading everybody's sets on the channel as well. But thank you, and Music Mondays. Let's get it, Cole. You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. You fucking killed it. You absolutely killed it, my friend. Huge shout out to all the artists, man. A lot of work was put into people's sets. A lot of work was put into Cyberfest itself, man. So I'm really happy that so many people were happy. The amount of people that messaged me personally and told me that this is what the underground needed, or this is, some of the most fun that they've had in a while from music, really meant a lot to me, especially for those of you that know how long I have been in this space. And sometimes I make it sound like it's like 10 fucking years or something, when in reality it's, I guess you could see a lot in like a shorter amount of time. So like if you consider like at the start of 2018, when I really started to get into digital media and management and independent art, along with making my own instrumentals and things like that, I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of things. And, you know, you could have looked at me like I was fucking crazy for starting something like Music Mondays. Truly. Like, especially in the beginning of 2021. Like, you truly could have looked at me like I was fucking nuts. But, you know, Cyberfest proved that the underground is not dead. It really proved that the underground is well and alive. And there were a lot of people that were saying that shit. Like, let me speak on that. And if you did say it, I'm absolutely talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, for sure. Because that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of people who are in the underground space that were saying that, and I was like, why the fuck are you bringing that negative energy around creativity? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck are you even being creative if you're gonna be negative like that? And I kept my faith. You know what I mean? Through thick and thin, I made sure that Music Mondays was gonna be the platform that I always meant to create, whether it was with, you know, X, Y, or Z platform, you know, UVC, 29 Club, so many great brands that I was affiliated with that really toppled over due to so many other circumstances. And, you know, the dream of having a platform that really saw the light of day that was able to help artists was my goal. And that's still not achieved yet. And like I said, you could have looked at me like I was fucking nuts for starting Music Mondays. You know? You were like, oh yeah, that shit's fucking dead. You know, there's no underground, this, that, and the third. We had 30 plus motherfuckers at Cyberfest performing, and over 30 in the live stream, 50 in and out of the Discord all day. Bro, that just doesn't happen if the scene is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially spectators. Like, you know how many people that were in and out of these places between Twitch and Discord that didn't even perform? Even other artists? So, don't bring that bullshit, and don't fucking believe that bullshit if you see it, because it's just simply not fucking true. Because if you give people a place to prosper, and you give people a place to bond and collaborate, shit like Cyberfest happens. So, all that fucking rah-rah, bro, suck my fucking dick. Like, that's bullshit. The underground is fucking here to stay. Especially if Music Mondays is around. That's for sure. So yeah, lots of cool stuff to close out the rest of the year. And like I said, a huge shout out to everybody involved in Cyberfest.